everybody. Happy Tuesday. Just get everything set up here. So hopefully everybody's had a good week, and we'll have some stuff to show. We went racing this weekend, so I got a video I'm ready to drop, but I'm going to show everybody on here first. And I've got the sample of the new merch. Good thing we got samples, because it's not right, but at least I can show you what we have and actually get some of your feedback on that. So that'll be good. Not a whole lot was going on this week or last week. Getting ready to go to Valdosta. We went up there Thursday and raced, practice Friday, Thursday night, all day Friday and Saturday for Mike Hill's year-end finale with Smurf. So after the show last week, I installed the engine. Then I saw a leak in the torque converter, took the engine back out, resealed the torque converter again, put the motor back in, got it all running, all adjusted. So that was pretty much the week I had. And then of course loaded the trailer and filled nitrous bottles, and got to bring the trailer organized for the trip up to Valdosta and back. So that was pretty much my week. Hopefully everybody had a good week, and of course hope everybody's getting used to the new time change. In the fall we run the clocks back an hour. That was nice to have an extra hours of sleep on Sunday, but it's a little weird that it's 6:30 and it's dark outside. I'm not crazy about it. I wish they'd leave time zones alone, but nevertheless, that's what we have to work with. So I see a couple people on. Hopefully you probably can't tell, but we're still on the OBS platform for the live, so hopefully the sound and everything is good. Nobody's mentioned anything about no sound, so I'm gonna assume that everything is good. And so been working on the 4200. I've got yesterday went through the valve train again. The first time, these shims are the thinnest shim is 3 thousandths and the thick shim is 33 thousandths. And when I did the valve adjustments first time, I was using a caliper. Good. Mike says sound and video is good. Ryan says all good. Hey guys, glad you all are in the show and stuff. So but what I was saying is, so when I went through the valve adjustments the first time on the 4200, I was using a caliper, and then while doing the 10-bolt rear end video, I realized on the thinner shims how you can overload the caliper and get a fake reading. So I decided, since the head was back off the motor, I'd go back through the valves, because I had some variation. Steve says, hello, hey man, how you doing? So went back through the valves, and because I had a variation, I had like 3 thousandths variation from low to high, and used the average as my setting point. But I wasn't real happy that they weren't all uniform. So using the micrometer like I did on the rear end build, I actually saw that where I was messing up, and now I've got all the intakes at 7 thousandths and all the exhausts at 9 thousandths spot on. So I'm real happy about that. I actually just installed the head tonight on the motor. I'll torque it in the morning. So get that motor in the car neck this week, and I got to get back on Joe's Camaro. That's been sitting dormant now for a couple weeks because of these race cars. And then of course this weekend I'm gonna get on Dave's Chevelle, get back on the wiring harness so I can get that video done. But yeah, so it was uh, pretty good, busy week last week, and it looks like it's going to be a really busy week this week. So when we got up, so we went racing in Valdosta, and the guys were working on the track really hard to keep the prep good. But end of the year, everybody is trying to do Hail Marys. A lot of cars were knocking the tires off and breaking parts and oiling down and wrecking. So it was a lot of slow going, and they'd have the track prep good, and then 8-10 cars would go down, and you'd have cars stuck on the track and time delays, and the cars weren't keep a track prep good. You really have to keep cars going down the track, and then compound that by the weather up there was completely different than down here. We're still in the mid 80s. Even Mike had said last week that it had gotten cold up in Jacksonville. So it was cold up in Valdosta, and at night it would get down into the 50s. Density altitude was near like 100 foot, so the air was really good for making horsepower. And being the cold temps, the ground temps cold, and not a lot of cars going down the track was spotty. So we had to make a bunch of changes on the Smurf, and we were able to make on the second or third attempt, I forget now, we were able to make it down the track on Thursday night, wheels up in the air, had the candles all lit. It was a good run, although we had to do a lot of work to get it to go down the track. And then on Friday was going to be our building day. We were going to build off of the tune that we had Thursday night to get the car to go faster, and then we had some major issues. So I don't remember what the timeline was, but basically I think we went up and knocked the tires off one run, and then on the other runs the car would just sound like it's running out of fuel in the burnout and just shut off, and then really not want to restart, or if it did restart, not sound good. So the first time I did it, we took it back to the pits, thought it was fuel, pulled the plugs, they looked kind of crappy, and did a log on the fuel, and we had fuel pressure, so we put a fresh set of plugs in, car fired up, sounded great. Thought maybe the had a couple plugs, because all the plugs come out of when I gap the plugs. I'll take 2 boxes, gap them, and then put them in a row in a spark plug holder. So all 8 plugs came out of the same 2 boxes. So who knows? Maybe those plugs were dropped and there was something wrong with them. I don't know. But that's what our thought was. We looked all over everything. Everything looked fine. And went up and tried to make another attempt and did the same thing. So at that point, we thought, the mechanical fuel pump is going bad, and when the engine's loaded, we're not delivering enough fuel to the engine. So we went back to the pits, removed the fuel filter, cleaned it out. It was actually clean. And then I removed the mechanical pump, which is run off the camshaft, and it's gear to gear. It was spotless inside. Everything looked perfect, and kind of scratching our heads, and I just happened to look down in the pan where I had drained the fuel out of the filter, and I saw water in the fuel. You can see something floating in the bottom of the fuel, which I immediately thought of water. And then we looked in the fuel tank, and sure enough, water in the fuel tank, and it came from a VP fuel jug that we had that had been sitting in the back of the truck, and the the heat, from the sun being on it, it had expanded and popped the top on it. And what we didn't see was that the plastic on the fuel filler on that can was cracked. So it must have absorbed water or condensation or something, but nevertheless, there was water in the fuel. So we drained the fuel, flushed the fuel lines, flushed the injectors, put it back together. Car fired up, ran great, and went to make our final attempt on Friday, and the staging lanes were closed 5 minutes before we pulled in the lane. So our day was done. And then Saturday was the race day. We got to the track early, made a run. Everything was great. Kind of a backup to the Thursday run. Then we were going to go ahead and make some adjustments and get back in lane. Well, we did make adjustments, got back in the lanes, and that's when the track, people blowing up and braking, and then they started the 28 275 shootout and the 484 shootout, because they had a bunch of cars. We were only 4 cars in our group, and so we ended up sitting in the staging lanes for 4 or 5 hours. And when we were able to make our next run, it was first round of eliminations. So yeah, we were a little behind the 8 ball there, and that's what happens, I guess. So I made a video that I'm going to drop on the channel, but I'm going to show it to you guys first, see what you guys think about it. But Anna's also going to show you a video from Forever Grudge. He did a video from a different perspective, so kind of show you both of those. But first, let's talk about the merch. So for the beginning of doing the merch, I decided to use a print-on-demand company, so that I give them my designs, and I have a store. You can go to the store, order it, and they take care of the order, the printing, the shipping. Of course, there's a fee for that, but the good thing is it gives everybody that wants to buy merch a lot of choices. You can get 5 different color shirts, and I can get 8-10 different designs up all at once, where if I was handling the merch myself, that would be 144 shirts of each design, and I'd have to guess on sizes and colors, and probably run out of stuff or not have the right stuff. And at this point, I'm still pretty busy with the shop and projects and stuff, so that would be just a whole nother thing to have to handle. So I figured I would, in lieu of making a profit, I would just use it for advertising and get the merch out, and we'll go from there. So I went ahead and picked one merch design, and decided to order a sample so I could see what the quality was and what the printing was. So I'm going to show you that. I see John's in and Chris is in. Hey guys, good evening to you guys. So all right, so let me show you. So here's the front of the shirt, and the number one problem is there's a big black box around the logo. So when I was designing the logos, I used a black background so I could see everything, because it's in white. So I didn't realize that was going to show up like that. So I'm working on fixing that. So this is the first design that I did. Let me get here. So kind of a play on LS firing order. So that's kind of what we're going to do. I mean, I'm going to have Chevy firing order, old school Gen 1, and then the LS firing order, and have a couple different sayings on it. and but I have to redo the designs to get rid of that black box. That shouldn't be there. The only printing should be the actual letters. So I talked to a buddy of mine, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's something you got to work on." So told me a couple ways I got to try to straighten it out. So I'm gonna work on that this weekend coming, and then we'll order more test shirts, and if that works out well, then I'll go ahead and put the store on live, and with the print on demand, I think it's going to work pretty nice because we'll be able to do Yeti type mugs, stickers, keychains, stuff like that. So I think that'll be pretty cool. So there'll be a lot more things to look at or purchase, more choices than if I tried to handle this myself. And I've done that before at my old shop, and it gets pretty tough. You almost have to be willing to get some help. So I'm working on that. I do think eventually I am going to switch to my own merch. So kind of what I'm going to do is use the store now. They give you analytics on what was ordered, so it'll kind of give me a feel of what's being ordered and what sizes and colors and stuff like that. So it'll give me an idea of that when I pull the plug on them and go to a full regular in-house merch, we'll kind of know what to get. So that's what that is all about. Let me show it again. I wanted to get your opinion. It's kind of hard to. Let me see if I can get this here where you can see it. No, I'm going right out of the screen. There we go. I don't know what you guys think of the logo. It's kind of hard to see that. Maybe that's pretty good there, but emoji face of me, of myself, and then of course the YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So I don't know what you guys think about that. That was something that my wife and brother-in-law and sister-in-law thought would be a good logo. I'm not 100% sure if I like looking at myself like that, but anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. For right now, we're going to go with it, and then if I may have to make something different. But so Mike says it looks good. All right, cool. That's one vote for keep it. So we'll go from there. But anyway, I'll go ahead and in the community tab on the page, I'll go ahead and put some polls up there so you guys can vote on that stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead, and I'm going to put the video on that I'm getting ready to drop from the weekend, and see what you guys think about this. Okay, so that was the video. So I see Andy K's on, and Andy and John. So Andy says, how about a picture with Landis Performance on the back with the Monty doing a wheelie? Yes, that is something I want to do. Is start doing shirts with the with some of the shop cars on it. John says, you like it without the Facebook, without the social media logos, and so does Andy. Yeah. The only reason I put the social media symbols on the front was because I'm not making a profit on these shirts, so that way I get a little advertising to draw people to the channel. That's my main thrust with the merch stuff right now, is to push more people to the channel. So that was the only reason why I put those logos on the logos on there. And I might just try to do maybe just a YouTube channel one on there or something, but like the stickers and stuff, we'll just do the Landis Performance. And we're definitely any of the cars that are pretty cool on the channel, I'm going to do a shirt for each one of those cars. So that'll be coming up. I'm just getting my feet wet first with just designing the verbiage before I get into trying to take pictures and get that laid out. What I really want to do is find a artist that can do the renderings and kind of not make them look cartoon, but make them look like a picture. And of course, if you're on Instagram, everybody gets these guys. I can draw your car, but they're all scams. So I got to find somebody local that's not a scam. So John says a badass G body. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Fastest fastest small block, I think, in the country, but definitely in the state of Florida. Sorry. Man, I just lost my total thought. Calvin's on. Looking forward to seeing the Studebaker run. Did a great job with the rebuild. Thank you, Calvin. Yeah, you probably weren't on the last channel, but I put the motor all together, got it in the car, had it running, and the dry sump pump, I believe, was the problem, but that was in Leo's house during Hurricane Ian, and his whole property was flooded about 3 feet deep. So all the spare motors and all his tools and all that stuff was all underwater, including the dry sump pump, which I wasn't aware of. So I put the car together, had good oil pressure. The next day, after breaking the rings in, the oil pressure went away. And so I pulled the motor back out and totally disassembled it. And the engine is perfect, 100%. In fact, the bearings don't even show that the motor was running. Went through the pump, and I think the pressure regulator was stuck, and that's why the pressure was high but good. And then when it dropped is because the regulator opened up. So I just put the head back on the motor tonight and put it back. I'll have it back in the car later on this week. John says use the social media on the back with the pictures. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So just put the name and logo on the front and the social media under the pictures. I can do that. That's a good thing. Mike says, what about the car silhouette like you have as for the channel? Yeah, that's a good possibility too. The only thing is the silhouette on the channel was for the Racer Supply Store business that Doug and I were partners in, and we have closed that business. So I just haven't put a new logo on the channel main channel page just because I haven't designed anything that I liked yet. So, but that's there's definitely a lot of possibilities, and that is why for the very beginning I'm going to go ahead and use the print on demand company, because that way we can kind of get an idea what works. We can try some stuff, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. No harm, no foul. I have no investment if there's no purchase. So, except for my time for making the design. So, that's something I'm gonna play around with. So, like I said, for the temporary time, we'll use the print on demand, and I'll make a bunch of different layouts, and we'll see what works. You know, because obviously if people are buying it, they like it. So, but I appreciate all your guys' inputs. It's great. That's why we have the live, so we can do some bench racing on a Tuesday night and you know, see how that all goes. So on my video, I didn't really, you know, I break up the runs. People like to stopwatch how fast the cars go in the videos. So my buddy Ted Hoffman turned me on to beautiful. Had a Gen 7 now. All right, cool, John. So, okay, so Ted Hoffman turned you on to me. He has the 454 SS. Cool. Cool. And so his 454 SS is the one that has a Super Ram and has the Holly HP. You know, I think he emailed me, and I didn't get back to him this week because I got slammed with the race cars. You know, having to rip the Studebaker back apart and then getting the Smurf together, so we were ready to leave on Thursday to go to the track. So I will, you know, if you see John, let him know. I will answer him this week. On that Excel Super Ram, I think he said in his email he wants to go from oval port to rectangle port. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any of those intakes for sale. So I think what he's going to have to do is he may have to get a tunnel ram lower. Well, but that's going to be expensive because then he's got to do the injector bungs and all that stuff. So I think what I would do if I was him is I would try to open up the oval port manifold as large as he can to try to match the rectangle port. And the truth of it is, unless it's, you know, a full-on race situation, the intake being smaller than the cylinder head is not a bad thing. What's bad is the other way around, the intake being larger than the intake port. But I mean, I'm sure he could open them up some. Those cast intakes are usually pretty heavily, they're pretty thick walled. So you know, he probably can open that up near big enough to do a gasket match. In fact, I would tend to believe it's the same outside casting, and they just change it. But I could be wrong about that. So, yeah, John, thanks. If you do see him, but I should answer him. I'll try to answer him in the morning. So, I hate not answering emails right away, but sometimes it happens. They fall through the cracks. I always tell people that are calling me and texting me on the phone and stuff, you know, people are like, oh, I don't want to bother you. I know you're working. And I'm like, don't worry about it. If I'm busy, it'll go to voicemail, and I'll get to it when I'm free. I'd rather you reach out than not reach out, as long as you know, everybody's has the understanding that, you know, I'll get back when I get a chance. One of the fun things about being all by yourself. So if you guys want, I can let me go ahead and show you a different perspective on that race. I believe Lamont got all the races in on his video, so you can see Disrespectful Racing, Stepchild, which that was the other first round race, and then us against the Themo, and Themo is the car that we raced in Texas and beat. So now, you know, we've been good. We lost a 4-car shootout to him last year, but we've got him great times, 2 times this year. So we love it, and we got Disrespectful in Darlington this year, and then he got us at Valdosta. So we're 1-1 with him. But you know, let me go ahead and bring up. Hang on a second. Sorry, I didn't have the microphone on. So yeah, John, that's pretty cool. Your neighbor with the 5.4 modular. Those are cool engines. They can give you some headaches though, but they're real good power plant. The cylinder heads are so huge on those things. It's so funny when you see the engine without the cylinder heads. It looks so tiny, and you put those big huge heads on it, but they do work well. I've built a bunch of those in the past, but yeah, in the small block scene, that's all. It's all nitrous only. So and stock bore center, and it's funny that Corvette, which is a brand new, fairly this year new car. So he's got a fiberglass body, obviously, because Corvettes are fiberglass from the factory, and so we're assuming that car is pretty light. And he's got a Ford engine in there, and because it's got a different bore center, so you can get a bigger, more cubic inch. Because we like to run in a class where everybody has a stock bore center, because you can get these 500 stock Chevy bore centers, 4.4 inches between center line, and the other you can get a 4.5 and a 4.6, which isn't a stock bore center engine anymore, and they can get up into the high 500 cubic inch range. So kind of hard to consider that really a small block. So like I said, we try to run in that. So yeah, Chris says I'm talking a little smack. Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of what the Smurf car does. And unfortunately, I don't know why, but in the garage scene, Florida doesn't get much respect. So whenever we go anywhere in race, people will just, they'll come up with all kinds of excuses if we win. If we lose, they want to mock us, and it's crazy, but it just makes us want to prove that we got the baddest car, than everybody else. So disrespectful got us on that one. We got up in the wheelie control, and we had the car on soft because we didn't have a good pass to know how far we could push it. So that's us. That's on us. We weren't prepared enough. So yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, I mean, how that fuel deal got biased, because I mean, I as you say, it's a car to be proud of. I mean, I'm the one who does all the maintenance on the car. So when we go to all these events and the car just makes laps, it's something that I can hold my head high. All the maintenance that I do to the car, and then all the work that the team does between the driver and the tuner and all the guys that help me work on the car and the owners of the car. I mean, it's we all try to do the right thing. In fact, that's the owner of the car. That's his saying. What we do in practice, we do in the game, and it's true. We practice when we go testing. We practice running the car just like if we were at an event. We keep a timer running so that we have to have the car turn around and back to the starting line in a short amount of time, and we do all those things, which sometimes is kind of a pain, especially when you're testing. But you know what? That prepares us so that when we go to a race and the event promoters want to hot lap you, that we're prepared and we're not going to miss something. But that fuel situation definitely cost us this last weekend. So we'll see what happens. There was some talk that maybe this weekend, Disrespectful and Stepchild might come down to Orlando for the Ducks race at Orlando, and they told us that Friday night we could get a couple of runs in, so maybe we might get some payback this Friday night. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it was mentioned. It was a possibility. So I'll know for sure tomorrow. They said I would know today. I haven't heard anything, so I'm assuming that it's not going to happen. But tomorrow I'll have to get a solid yay or nay, because I won't be able to turn the car around in time to be ready to be back up there by Friday morning. So otherwise, I think that's going to be the end of the season for the Smurf for this year, and we'll start working on plans for next year. But that doesn't stop racing. As we talked earlier before I showed the videos, I'm getting the 4200 back together. Hopefully going to be on a dyno. If I don't go to Orlando this Friday, I'm hoping to have the Studebaker on the dyno on Friday. If not, it'll be next week. But I'll definitely get a video of that. And, we'll have that on for next. Nevertheless, we will have some video of the car running for next Tuesday night. So I promise we'll definitely have something to talk about with the Studebaker, and being the Studebaker's not a grudge car, I can go ahead and show some stuff with the Holly. I just updated all the cars to the Build 400, which has a lot of new controls in it, along with V6 that has a lot of controls, but the V6 Build 400 has a lot of new stuff that's really great for the racer. A lot of troubleshooting stuff, and a lot of controls for trans control, shifter control, trans converter dump controls, lockup controls, all kinds of stuff that before we'd have to make math tables for in 1D or 2D, but now it's already in a regular channel, so it makes it a whole lot easier to fill in the blanks and write your curves, and you're good to go. So we'll show some stuff with that and some data logs and stuff like that, and that'll be for next Tuesday. So keep an eye out for next Tuesday. And I talked to Ryan a week or two ago. Time's been shuffled the last couple weeks, so I'm kind of not remembering exactly when I did anything. But I did buy that 4200 from Utah that I had talked to Ryan about, and I'm working on getting that shipped back. So we will have a brand new GM crate 4200 as a engine for something. I'm going to obviously we'll see how the self engine runs in the Studebaker, and if we have issues with it, I may go ahead and pull the crate motor apart and put a set of performance rings in it, and head studs, and check reset the bearing clearances in the bottom end, and may make it a backup engine for the Studebaker, or I may just keep it and put it in my wife's truck. When she's getting close to 200,000, I could swap the motors out, and then use her motor for a backup or future race engine or something, because her engine has been fairly well maintained and doesn't have any issues, so it would be an easy go to make that a backup engine. So Ryan says that deal was a steal on the 4200. Yeah, that was a steal. I was looking, near as I could tell, when GM was selling those engines, they were getting $2,700 to $2,800 for it, and I paid $900 for this one, and it's sealed in the crate. And the person I purchased it from actually works at a Chevy dealership, and he said they had it sitting around in the parts room for a couple of years, and they wanted to get rid of it, so he put it on Facebook, and I just happened to catch it. I don't know how I did, being he's in Utah and I'm in Florida, but I did, and we made a deal, and I sent payments, and I got it. So I just don't have it in my hands yet, but that will happen soon. I did find a buddy of mine that transports cars, high-end cars, so he uses an enclosed trailer. He actually was out at SEMA. He was transporting a couple cars back and forth from SEMA, so he was in the area and said he probably can get it towards the end of next week. So that'll work out great. And even though it's a little bit more money than a regular shipper would be, it's in great, capable hands. I know it won't be moved around from depot to depot as it's coming back, and it'll be, sealed up in an enclosed trailer with a high-end show car along with it, so I don't have to worry about anything happening to it. So I feel real good about that. So that's going to be very cool. So yeah, so keep an eye out. I will put some stuff. I will put a couple polls on the community tab on the channel, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that comes on the channel, watches these lives. I know, I mean, this may not be the most interesting thing. Maybe it is. I hope it is. And we just, my whole idea was, this was a bench race situation, and we can talk about different things and share experiences, and I can give information out when asked upon, and get, and it gives me a place to find out information, like the merch and how videos come out and stuff like that. But I just was looking today on the channel, and I'm within 150 hours year to date from getting fully monetized. So again, thank you to everybody that goes on the channel and watches the videos and leaves comments and hits the like button and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. That's gonna, once the channel gets fully monetized, that's gonna give me a little bit more money to invest in. One, we can get the StreamYard live show streaming software, and I'll be able to get the pay package, which is a lot better than the free package. And gets better cameras. Right now I only have one prehistoric GoPro 3 and one GoPro 10, and so like at the races I can only get my GoPro 10 worked. That was what the view from the Smurf to our competitor. That's from a camera on the suction cup on the roof of the car. But I'd like to get a couple more channels, so a couple more cameras, so I can get different views, and obviously some new mics. And I would like to get a telephoto lens for my my digital LSR, DLSR, whatever, DSR, whatever they are, so I can get some long distance shots. So just so I can just bring better coverage to you guys. John says your comment is great in my eyes. Thank you, John. Mike says looks like every week there are more people participating. That's awesome. Yes, that is totally my whole want, is that we can get a group of people on, that we can bench race, talk about different things. If you guys are for your own personal stuff, if you're on Instagram or Facebook and you're putting your own projects on, go ahead and hit me up with a friend request, or just send me a link so I know and I can look, because I know like Ryan is on Facebook, and I think he's on Instagram also, but he's doing some awesome body work on a C10 truck. You got to see that thing's going to be high quality. I can say that I think it's going to be at a Ken Diggett level of the fit and finish of the bumpers and the grill and all the metal work under the hood and stuff. The thing just is coming out awesome. And of course, he's building a Vega H-body. That's how I actually came across Ryan, was on the H-body forum on Facebook, and that thing is coming out awesome. He's building a complete frame with 3-link rear suspension and small block with dry sump, and I believe you're putting stack injection on that. That thing's going to be incredible. So it's good to keep in touch with everybody through all the social media channels. Mike with Patriot Grease Monkey. You should go to his channel. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the oiling issues with the newer engines with the VVT, and he was telling us about the variable lobe situation with I think it was a 2.4. And on his channel, because we were talking about it on here, he went ahead and made a video showing what we were talking about. So, you know, if anybody remembers that that live show when we were talking about that stuff, and they were interested in what he was talking about, you can go over to his channel and check that out. So that's what it's all about. And of course, Calvin was on here earlier, and you know, anything 4200, it's always Mike said it was 2.7 turbo. Sorry about that. Yeah, 2.7 turbo. But Calvin's got a lot of stuff about 4200s and LS and LTs and stuff. Him and his dad built a lot of crazy cars and stuff like that. So you can always go check his channel. Ryan says, I'm working on the C10 rig now while listening. Professor Landis. Ryan, you're too much, man. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, that C10 is coming out freaking awesome. That is really a cool ride. I can't wait to see with color on it. I know, you know, it all takes time though. So I'll keep digging, and that thing will be finished, and it'll be awesome. So I saw, you know, Chris was on earlier. Hopefully Chris and his buddy are getting all the little situations done on his Nova. Maybe next time when that car's back on the track and we, you know, maybe we'll meet up at an autocross and I'll get some footage of your car and get it on the channel. That'd be pretty cool. That thing is definitely cool. What's it, 68 to 72 Nova with a 2015 a 5th gen LS3 package with the TR6060 and a supercharger. It's a great car, and becoming a really good autocross car. He has some teething pains with it, but that, you know, that happens. But he's working through it and going to get that car really good. Time and money, that's my problem. Yeah, John, you're right. It's always time and money. You know, and for your do-it-yourselfers, it's a lot of times it's time more so than money. You know, money definitely helps buy the nice parts, but time, you know, case in point, the Vet Hawk. You know, I got a good start going on that thing, but shop life has happened, and the work in the shop is, you know, made me put that on the back burner for right now. But it is allowing me to put some time together to gather more parts, and hopefully with the Studebaker close to being finished and out of here, I'll go ahead and be able to finish the I'll put an engine and trans in the body and kind of mock that up and get part 2 of that build released in the for the channel, and then of course it'll go back into hibernation for a little bit of time while I gather more parts for part 3. I gotta order roll bar tubing and some sheet metal and stuff like that, and but we'll get back on that thing. Of course, the NASCAR will definitely be jumping the line on that one. That'll be happening soon. I'm gathering parts as we speak on that. I've got a 6-liter. I've got LS3 heads that are ready to go. I've got intake. So I got valve train stuff coming. I've got cam and stuff coming. And I'm working on what I need for the correct bell housing and clutch assembly for it. So I'm hoping that's going to be a quick build. You know, just get the engine together, put the drivetrain in the car. For right now, I've got a Sagnol 4-speed I'm going to use for it. You know, it'd be nice to have a Super T10, but the Sagnol cast iron will work for now because it was free, and that's for me. But that'll get that thing back to get that together so we can do some events next year. John says, got to pay the bills. You're right. You got to pay bills. that's the part about life that stinks, you know. You can do bartering and all that kind of stuff, but you still got bills coming in that have to be paid, and so you got to get the work done. But hope everybody enjoyed the drag coverage tonight. Hope it wasn't too boring or anything. And I hope you guys thought the my video that I showed first is pretty clean. I think I'm going to go ahead and drop that tomorrow night, just because you've got to keep putting things on. And with all the thrashing all weekend at the track and stuff, so it's hard to get a lot of content. It's hard to get all the cars racing and all that stuff because I'm in the staging lanes with getting our car prepped and stuff like that. So maybe one day I'll be able to get I've been working on my buddy Chuck. I need to get him or somebody that can go to these events and be a cameraman for me, so while I'm working I can still get more content. But I work with what we got for it now, and I think it's going pretty decent. Definitely like to make the content more flow better, but the big thing is I'm happy I was able to get that together pretty quickly. It killed me last week when we dropped the Good Guys show. It took me 4 months to get that video together. That's you kind of lose the height of interest when the event is over and you don't have anything out there for the coverage. So that's why I went ahead and knocked the year-end finale small block shootout video out, so that way I can put it up tomorrow, and it's only 2 days after the event, so that should do well. But like I said, we will this week we'll definitely get the motor back in the Studebaker, and we'll get that all back organized and running, and I'll finish up I got a video of that, of the problems and putting it back together and all that, and then I'll do a part 3 when we dyno and go to the track. So keep an eye out for those. And I think that's about all I got for this week. I was trying to get a tech tip together, but with all the traveling and everything else I did this week. Oh, you know what? I do have a tech tip for you. Always keep duct tape and a small bit of hand tools with you when you're traveling on the highway. I'll go to that in a second. Mike says you're going to have to get on a camera team and an editing team and a merge team. Yeah, yeah, I need all those. And then I'll have to figure out how to pay for all that. But, in due time, it would be nice to get somebody to help out down the road. But we'll see how that all goes, one step at a time. But back to what I was saying about a tech tip. So I dropped everybody off in Orlando, and I'm bringing the rig back to Boynton Beach. And, on a diesel, when you're pushing them hard, you can tell right away because the oil temp and the water temp goes up. And you can actually, for anybody that's towed with a diesel, I guess a gas engine would do it too, but diesels definitely do it. You can actually see them changing heat by the load you're putting on them. Oh, my wife is home. So after I stopped for fuel, I could see I got back on the road. I was hustling the truck pretty hard, getting back up to the speed limit, and I could see the water temp was pretty high, and so I backed out of the throttle, and the temp stayed high, and I backed out of the throttle more, and it still stayed high. And then I saw on the dash low coolant, so I pulled off to the side of the road, and on the tow truck for the Smurf, somebody had changed the radiator hoses on there, and for anybody that replaces a lot of the aftermarket hoses, they usually give you a little extra length in the legs. So This one hadn't been trimmed, and the upper hose was riding against the master cylinder, and after a couple trips, the master cylinder wore a hole in the upper hose. And so I got off the side of the road, opened the door. It's got the electric steps, and I about busted my butt getting out of the truck because the running board was covered in coolant. So I knew right away there was an issue. Opened the hood and seen what the situation was. So luckily I had the race car hauler with me, so the trailer with me. So pulled the upper hose off, trimmed a 1/2 inch off each length of the hose, got good old duct tape, and made a duct tape repair over the big slice in the upper hose. Put it all back together, and of course we had chiller water for the Smurf uses an external chiller that cools the car down. So we had 10 gallons of water with VP Blue water wetter in it. So filled it back up, and in 10 minutes I had the repair all done and drove home. The rest of the last 100 miles, no problems at all. So that's a tech tip. Always keep duct tape and some hand tools with you for when you have coolant hose problems. It will work. You do have to leave the radiator cap loose so you don't build coolant pressure, but I was able to roll down the highway full speed ahead, and the truck stayed cool and no problems. So I do have to put an upper hose on that before the truck goes anywhere else. But that's a little tech tip. So another one for coolant issues is pepper, ground pepper. Years ago, I used to have a buggy we ride around out in the woods, kind of like a hunting buggy or a booze and cruise buggy. And of course, out there, it's kind of MacGyvering everything. I'd always take all these spare parts up to the camp, and none of them were actually for the buggy, but if you needed something, there was parts you could maybe rig it and make it work. So one time the cooling fan stopped working. I went in the storage unit, and sure enough, I had multiple electric fans. Found one I thought would work, and then of course it didn't line up. So carelessly, I drilled new holes in the bracket that the electric fan was bolted to, and I nipped one of the tubes on a copper radiator. Now I got a coolant leak. So now I got two problems: no electric fan and a coolant leak. So like I said, we kind of always MacGyvered it out in the woods. So we took a pair of pliers and pinched the tube off tightly around where I nicked it. Finished putting the new electric fan on, and put about 4 tablespoons of ground pepper in there, and started up and let it circulate. Water, the leak in the radiator stopped, and believe it or not, kind of hillbilly in me, I never fixed it, and that buggy ran for 5 years up there with pepper in it, and never had a coolant leak. So another little tidbit: pepper is a good stop leak, and duct tape is a good hose repair. Mike says used pepper several times. It was Doug's favorite go-to. Yeah, for sure. That definitely worked. It works well. So. Hot dog bun. Well, I'm not sure how a hot dog bun would work as a coolant leak, but repair. But anything's possible, I guess. So I guess 8 o'clock. My wife came in, gave us the peace sign. She's home from work, so I think we'll go ahead and call it a night. I appreciate, bottom of my heart, I appreciate everybody getting on the chat, making this a fun thing for me. Hopefully it's fun and entertaining for you guys. Next Tuesday we'll do it all over again. So, thank you again for, watching the lives and, checking out the videos on the channel. I think I'm getting close to 175 videos now on the channel, so there should be something interesting for anyone that is in the car lifestyle. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Tell your friends, uh, you know, like the videos and leave comments. That's all. It's all good. That's what it's all for. So we can get, being that this isn't a two-way screen, the chat is the way that we can communicate back and forth. So again, I appreciate it. And with that, I think I'm going to say good night to everybody. So I hope you all have a good week, and see you all next week. All right, see ya.